Before we get into this video, if you guys want to check out my link tree down below, you can. You can check out all my short films. You can check out our feature film Rocky Wake, which we'll have more news on soon. The Long Walk is an adaptation from the Stephen King novel that came out in 1979, I believe. I've not read the book. I've not read it, so I'm not going to be able to make any comparisons. But what I will say is every time a new Stephen King film comes out, well, I'm not going to say Stephen King film. I mean, this film was directed by Francis Lawrence, which actually did some of the Hunger Game films. Actually, I think all of the Hunger Game films. And I Am Legend. I can see how something like this would definitely be right up his alley. But it was also written by J.T. Mulliner. I believe that's how you say his name. And he also did the film Strange Darling, if you guys remember that film. That film I actually really enjoyed a lot. It's funny, I don't hear people talk about that film that much anymore. They should, because it's really good. But The Long Walk is an adaptation of the book, and it stars Cooper Hoffman and Dave Johnson. I think that's how you say his name, Johnson. It's spelled a weird way, but I've been saying this about the man since Alien Romulus. Alien Romulus, he was amazing in Alien Romulus, and he is also amazing in The Long Walk. He's actually really, really good in this film. But also Cooper Hoffman, I'm glad that he's crafting his own way through the industry, because Cooper Hoffman's a great actor as well. I would say that this is probably my favorite Cooper Hoffman performance, even more than Licorice Pizza. He was just firing on all cylinders for this film. There's so much emotion. There's so many things to unpack with The Long Walk, because The Long Walk, from a distance, it's a simple film about a group of boys that's walking on this road. I'm pretty sure they get off on different roads, but they're walking, and if you stop walking, you get shot. The whole point is for this group of people, they have a number, they have a tag, and they're walking. Mark Hamill plays the major. He's the one kind of orchestrating this whole thing, and it's up to these individuals to keep walking, because if they stop, they die. But if you survive, you basically get what you wish for and a bunch of money, essentially. That is what the film is about. But what this film really does rely on a lot, which was something that I thought was executed really well, because there's not much coverage you can get in a film like this. You know, like when you're walking just from point A to point B, and that's all you're doing is walking. I mean, there's not really much stuff going on around them. It's very much so contained to the group and what they're doing and sort of their dialogue, some of the situations they find themselves in. They're not necessarily too intense, but they're intense because of the situation that they're actually in. For instance, if somebody's boot decides to tear apart, that turns into a tense situation. Somebody twists their ankle. If you have to go to the bathroom, which they actually they kind of explain that in a very unique, interesting, and kind of grotesque way. But it's just these little situations that our characters find themselves in, where they're so small, but to them, and not only to them, but to us as the audience, they find themselves just a complete wreck, because one little mishap, they can go. They're gone. They're eliminated. They're dead. And that's one thing that I like about The Long Walk, is there's stakes. There's stakes with every character. Now, of course, you have like the Hunger Games, you have Squid Games, you have The Platform. I know The Platform's another recent one. You have these certain types of films where it is basically a contest, and you know that there's going to be a winner, and it's up to, it's all down to the last person standing. But the thing that's different about The Long Walk, the thing that I find very fascinating, is a lot of these individuals are trying to help each other. I mean, they actually are trying to help each other. There's no violence. There's nothing along the lines of trying to screw anybody over. You're just trying to walk from point A to point B. But with something like the Hunger Games, you're trying to take each other out. Something like Squid Games, you're trying to compete in a game and eliminate people throughout certain games. The platform's just crazy. But with this, it seems like nobody really wants anybody to die. Now, I know you could say that with any of these survival films or Battle Royale. I can't believe I didn't bring up Battle Royale. I think if everybody could have it their way, they would just live. Everybody would just live. Everybody would be a winner, and that's that. But for this one, it's very known that there's going to be a clear winner. Everybody knows that there's a clear winner, but there's just this level of camaraderie that I just could not help but appreciate. And that's what the film thrives on. It thrives on these dialogues. It thrives on these relationships. And it thrives on these characters, because you don't want to watch a bunch of characters just act a fool the whole entire runtime, because it adds more to the atmosphere of the film. It adds more to what these characters are going through, because there's this beautiful thing that's said in this film, and they actually do repeat it a few times, where they'll say, "Hey, I made a friend." at the very least, or something along, this isn't verbatim, but I made a friend. And that was just, I don't know. There's just something about that where, of course, somebody knows that they're going to win. Other people know they're going to die. Whether or not you believe you're going to win, whether or not you believe you're going to die in this situation, people are just worried about making friends. That's pretty lighthearted, especially considering this film is not lighthearted at all. And when it comes to the overall resolution of this film, it really just depends on what you're trying to gather from it, because The Long Walk is a very simplistic film. It is very straightforward, and for the most part, when you go into this film, you are going to get what you went for. Like, it runs for an hour and 50 minutes almost, and it is, I think, very much so warranted. I would even say that it could have went on a little bit longer. I know with the coverage and things are limited, they do a really cool job of doing certain things, but it's just, golly, the whole entire film, it just relies on these performances, and everybody did a fantastic job. Even Mark Hamill, which he's in the film, but he's more so of an enigma. Like, you don't really get to see him that much. He's just someone that kind of lingers in the background the whole entire time, and then whenever you do see him, it's like, oh, okay, here's this bad guy, this evil man. And I don't know, there's just something about The Long Walk that really did please me a lot. I had a great time with it, as great a time as you can with a film like this. I didn't really have many expectations coming, to the theater, but I will say this is a film you should definitely watch. This is a film that I really wish I could have watched it when they were all on the treadmills. I feel like that would have been just the perfect way to watch this film. Like, I feel like you should watch this film on a treadmill. That is the way to watch it. If you've not seen The Long Walk on a treadmill, like me, you've not really watched this film. You've not. Because I watched this film sitting down with food. I guess the only thing that I had in common with these characters is I did have to go to the bathroom. I didn't go, though, because I'm a champ. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a thumbs up and maybe subscribe. Let me know what your favorite Stephen King adaptation is down in the comments below. Take it easy, and I'll see you next time.
How many people have to go missing before law enforcement gets their heads out their asses? How many? Let me ask you something. Do you lose sleep? I mean, do you lay awake at night thinking about everything that goes on in the world around you? To anyone listening right now, we don't need a sheriff that hides behind curtains. We need someone who has a family of their own. Someone who has something to lose, not someone who can lose everything and still live the same life they've been living all these years. Until the monster that's taken everything we love, that's put this town that we've all grown up in despair, until he's caught, you may as well be the monster yourself.